Good morning, students. Welcome to day 6 of your digital learning journey. I hope you had a great weekend and you were able to rest and relax and you are ready for this new week of school because we are still going to be learning and doing the best that we can. So I have a couple things that I want to show you today. So I am on my eClass course page, as you can see. I'm so happy so many of you came to my office hours. They were so much fun. If you liked it and you want to do another hangout, Mrs. Stark is offering 2 this week, Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. If you go to the NGMS Media Center eClass page, she is going to have a link for you. Okay, so again, this is optional, but it's a really great opportunity for you to just hang out and kind of take a break. All right, so I'm going to go into the calendar. Okay, and let's see what's on deck today. Okay, so welcome to today's lesson. I hope you had a great weekend. I did want to tell you that under the content page in eClass, I've added some DLD goodies if you are looking for something to do. So let's go look at that real quick. So I go to content. And then remember, on the side is where I have all my modules. If you click DLD bonus goodies, I've got a couple things. So I've got a bingo that you can do for social distancing. I've got distance learning, creativity. This one's kind of fun. It is a choice board, so you've probably seen choice boards before from other classes. So this has really fun, creative activities. And I love this because it talks about a study where it just says if we spend 45 minutes of a creative activity, even if we're not good at it, it can help reduce our stress. So I've been trying to journal and just do other creative things. I've even been having some fun designing some stuff on my computer. So this has some great ideas. Please share them with me if you do any of them. So I've got another bingo there. The 6-minute podcast that we listen to in class, you are absolutely welcome to listen at your own leisure. This is a family-friendly podcast, so if you have younger siblings, totally fine for them to listen. Go ahead and click that. And then the last thing is something that someone actually shared on my personal Facebook page because you guys know I love Harry Potter. So you can do this with your family. You can do it by yourself. It's actually an escape room. So it was created by someone in Pennsylvania. And you'll go through, you'll read the directions, and you'll do it. So if you do that, let me know. Those are all optional. All right, so let's go back to the calendar. Okay, so you are actually doing 3 things today. However, I think you're going to have fun. So we're actually doing the escape room to practice quotation marks today. Okay, so you are going to go here. Here's your escape room link. It should open up in a new tab for you. Okay, and this has been designed by Mrs. Stark. She helped us out with that, so she's just been so awesome. So here's your description of what you're doing. Then we've done these before, but as a refresher, there are 4 different locks. You must unlock all 4, okay? And then this is the clue. So I'm going to click that button to make it bigger, and then this actually has a video, so you will play the video to get the clue. One thing that I wanted to point out is that Mrs. Stark made for us some tips. So if you're stuck on any of the locks, okay, she has kind of told us things that you could do. All right, and you can also reach out to me if you are stuck. The next task should be very easy. You are going to do a Google form check-in, okay? So this is one of those things like I've done with you guys before where you can tell me as much as you're comfortable with, but that's not supposed to be there. I would like you to fill this out so I can at least know that you are accessing my materials because there's a few students that I haven't heard from, so I'm going to start calling parents. Okay, I'm going to pause and restart. All right, so as I was saying, this is your week 2 check-in. You're just gonna tell me what academic you're in. Again, please fill this out, even if you just wanna tell me your name. And then the other required question is, do you have any questions about your digital learning day assignments? Okay, so are you missing anything? Do you need help? So I'll respond to your parents' email because that's what the school gives me, unless you want to tell me your email, and then I can do that. Okay. All right. So there's also some other questions there. All right, and the last thing that we're going to do, I'm going to do in just a second, is I am going to do a read aloud for us, and I will talk about what the book is. And I've gotten a lot of requests for read alouds, so I am happy to do that. The last thing I wanted to say was I'm going to post a link on eClass, but I am doing another office hour on Wednesday, so same thing. This time, because it was a little bit crazy with all of us at once. At one point, there were 30 of us in the call. I'm going to change it so on Wednesday, first and second period will go from 2 to 3, and then third and fourth will go from 3 to 4. Okay, so keep your eye out for that, and I will post the link Wednesday morning. All right, I'll see you in the read aloud. All right, guys, welcome to my channel. Just kidding. I'm going to do another read aloud. So I plan to do a couple of these this week because I know you guys really like them. So I had pulled some books before we left and I grabbed them from my classroom. So I have a bunch of diverse books, okay? So those kind of deal with things that we may not always think about. And I think one thing that we take for granted, and I know that when I was your age, I definitely did, is our education, right? We're like, oh, I have to go to school. And even right now, you're probably like, why do I have to do my assignments? It doesn't really matter. So I love this book. It's called Amal Unbound by Aisha Saeed. And I'm going to read you the first front cover so you can get an idea what it's about. This book is available in our media center. Obviously, that's not going to help you right now. But you can also get it on Amazon or get it if you have a Kindle or e-reader or the Gwinnett Public Library with the link that I left earlier this week. Okay, so it says, Amal has big dreams until a nightmarish encounter. 12-year-old Amal's dreams of becoming a teacher one day is dashed in an instant when she accidentally insults a member of her Pakistani village's ruling family. As punishment for her behavior, she is forced to leave her heartbroken family behind and go work at their estate. Amal is distraught, but has faced setbacks before. So she summons her courage and begins navigating the complex rules of life as a servant, with all its attendant jealousies and pecking order woes. Most troubling, though, is Amal's increasing awareness of the deadly measures the Khan family will go in order to stay in control. It's clear that their hold over her village will never loosen as long as everyone is too afraid to challenge them. So if Amal has any chance of ensuring her loved one's safety and winning back her freedom, she must find a way to work with the other servants to make it happen. Okay, and then here's a picture of the author, Aisha Saeed. Okay, so I'm going to read the first 2 chapters of this book, and be sure to let me know what you think of it. Okay, so I know it's kind of weird that I'm doing it so you can see me, but I just thought it would be more authentic. I have not really gotten dressed up in like a week. I don't know about you guys. Okay, so chapter 1. I watched from the windows as the boys tumbled out of the brick schoolhouse across the field from us. Our class was running over, again. Girls shifted in their seats and sneaked glances at the clock above the chalkboard. My friend Hafsa sighed. And finally, I have some bad news, Miss Sadia told us. She picked up a stack of papers from her desk. I finished grading your math tests. Only 5 of you passed. The class let out a collective groan. Now, she hushed us. This just means we have more work to do. We'll go over it tomorrow and take another test next week. Those questions were hard, my younger sister Seema whispered to me. We lined up by the chalkboard at the front of the class to get our tests. I should have stayed with the younger class until fall. Oh, come on, you know you probably passed, I whispered back. When have you ever failed an exam? Seema tugged at her sleeves as she walked up to Miss Sadia. It was only in the arms that you could see my old uniform was too big on her. Miss Sadia handed Seema the paper. As expected, Seema's worried expression shifted to a smile. Her steps were lighter before she slipped out of the classroom. I'm sorry I can't help today, I told Miss Sadia once the room was empty. This was my favorite part of the day, when everyone left and it was just the two of us. The building felt like it had exhaled, expanding a little bit without all 34 of us, crammed two to a desk, filling up nearly every square inch of space. My mother is in bed again. Is the baby almost here? Yes, so my father and I have to come home and watch my sisters. I'll miss your help and all, but he's right. Family comes first. I knew helping family was what a good eldest daughter did, but this time after school with Miss Sadia wasn't just fun. It was important. I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up, and who better to learn from than the best teacher I ever had? I loved washing the chalkboards, sweeping the floor, and hearing stories of her college days. I loved watching her go over her lessons and rework them based on what worked and what didn't the day before. I learned so much from watching her. How could my father not understand? I could use your help with the poetry unit next week, she told me. Some of the students are grumbling about it. Think you can give Hafsa to give it a chance? Could convince Hafsa to give it a chance? You know how she rallies the others to her side. She'll listen to you. I don't think she minds reading the poems. Writing them makes her nervous. You think everyone would be happy to write poetry, shorter than an essay. It's different. The great poets like Ghalib, Rumi, Iqbal, they all had things to say. And don't you have things to say? What would I write about? I laughed. My little sisters, my father's sugarcane fields and orange groves? I love reading poems, but there's nothing for me to really write about. Our life is boring. That's not true. Write about what you see. Write about your dreams. Pakistan was founded by the dreams of poets. Aren't we of the same earth? Miss Sadia's dramatic way of talking was one of the reasons I loved her, but I wasn't convinced. It's not that I wasn't proud of my family and our life. I was lucky to belong to one of the more prosperous families in our Punjabi village, but it didn't change the fact that I lived in a village so tiny it didn't even register as a dot on a map. But I promised I'd talk to Hafsa. This is what I now remember most about my last afternoon at school. The smell of the dusty chalkboard, the sound of the students lingering outside the door, and mostly how easily I took my ordinary life for granted. All right, one more chapter. Chapter 2. I raced down the school's gravel walkway to catch up to Seema and Hafsa. The sun blazed overhead, warming my chador and my hair beneath it. I'm buying Miss Sadia one of those bells I see on TV. You know, the kind that rings when class is over, Hafsa grumbled. She doesn't always keep us late, I protested. Remember last week, Hafsa said, how she went on and on about constellations? By the time I got home, my brothers were out of their school clothes and halfway through their homework. But wasn't it interesting? I asked. The way the night stars help us when we're lost and tell us all sorts of different stories. Why do I need to know about connecting dots in the sky? I want to be the first doctor in my family, not the first astronaut, Hafsa said. Hafsa and I had been friends for so long, I couldn't remember a time when I didn't know her. But when she talked like this, I didn't understand her at all. Unlike Hafsa, I wanted to know everything there was to know. How fast did airplanes fly? Why did some leave whiffs of clouds in their wake and others didn't? Where did ladybugs go when the rain came hard and fast? What's it like to walk through the streets of Paris or New York? There was so much I didn't know that even if I spent my whole life trying, I knew I could only learn a small percentage of it. How's your mom? Hafsa asked. Her mother said her back is hurting. It's gotten worse, I told her. She couldn't get out of bed yesterday. My mother said that's a good sign. Backaches mean a boy, Hafsa said. I know that would make your parents happy. Wonder where that is. It would be fun to have a brother, I said. There it is, look at the door, Hafsa said when he turned the bend toward our homes. She pointed to the building that had appeared next to our village mosque. A structure had never emerged quite like this with no explanation. 2 weeks ago, a concrete foundation had been poured onto the field where we play soccer. The next week, brick walls arose and windows appeared, and today there was a door, painted lime green. Any idea what it could be? I asked her. Yes, Hafsa grinned. If Hafsa couldn't have it her way, she'd be permanently stationed by the crates of fruit at our family's market, soaking up every bit of gossip. Khan Sahib is building a factory. I rolled my eyes. Rumors and gossip were a part of life in our village. Some of the talk was ordinary about the state of the crops or the weather, but it often centered on Khan Sahib, our village's powerful landlord. Why would he build a factory here? He has plenty in Islamabad and Lahore, Seema said. What we need is a clinic. Look how much Amma's back hurts. The doctor in town is good, but this village needs a proper clinic. Do you really think Khan Sahib would put up anything to help us? Hasfa scoffed. Maybe it's not him building it, I suggested. Look at that fancy green door. Who else has time and money to waste like that? You know I'm right. Any unexplainable situation was always pinned to Khan Sahib. He was a mysterious figure I'd heard of all my life, but never seen. When I was younger, he loomed large and scary, like a character in a horror story. Sure, he's the one who breathes fire when he talks, right? I rolled my eyes. Didn't he pick all the fruit off Nema's guava tree? Seema winked. I heard he's why we've had no rain for months, I continued. I don't decide what I hear, Hasfa huffed. I just report it. We'll find out when it's soon enough. I hooked my arm through Seema's. But in the meantime, let's hope it's a clinic. Hasfa's house came first on our path, just past the post office. Then came mine. I saw it in the distance, gray like the others surrounding it, except for the roses my mother plotted around its border just before I was born. They still bloomed each spring around this time, without fail. It's why spring was my favorite time of year. My friend Omar pedaled past us in his blue and khaki school uniform. He chimed his bell 3 times, our signal to meet. The stream. That's the direction he was headed in. Oh no, I looked in my book bag. I left my exam in class. Again? Hasfa frowned. Tell Amma I won't be long, I asked Seema. Seema hesitated. Our father would be home soon, but she knew Omar didn't chime his bicycle bell 3 times unless it was important. Okay, Seema nodded. Hurry. All right, I hope you enjoyed the first 2 chapters of Amal Unbound, and I will see you next time for our next read aloud.